And we are live. Hello, everyone. This hour on Verbling, the next in my Business Basics series. In this class, we try to cover the basic vocabulary that you need in different areas of business. Also, and we'll do this not so much through exercises, but more through communication of ideas and trying out business scenarios in class. In this class, we're going to I should say, first of all, this lesson is about important inventions that we probably now take for granted. So you're going to read a short but fascinating article about how some of the greatest inventions were invented, but also discuss which inventions you could the least live without today, which ones you most take for granted. We'll decide whether innovation is I would like to say whether it's even possible today in today's business world, or how has innovation changed from the time that these things were invented. It raises a question of whether these inventions could have happened today, or whether there was something special about that time. So let's get started. Let me just get the material on the screen. And let me give you the link. There you go. It might just be you and me, Giancarlo. I don't know. Give me a second to get the material there so you can see it. Okay. Can you see that okay?
Yes, Web of Ideas.
That's it. So we're not going to talk about the normal web. We're going to talk about the web that existed before the web.
Okay.
Now, the only problem with this class is that I wanted everyone to sort of read one part of the text and compare ideas. So it's going to be a lot for us, for just you to read by yourself. So we're going to have to figure out, well, maybe we'll see if anyone else comes in. Sometimes we have too many teachers teaching at the same hour, and then I started the class a bit late, so people might not have seen it. But let's give them a minute. So maybe we can start with a little bit of a discussion before we actually get into it. So the first thing I wanted to ask you, well, let's start here, actually. Let's start here. First of all, do you recognize any name on this list at all?
Stephanie Cole, Wallace Carrot, Sir Tim Berners-Lee. No. Elisa Otis, Willis Carrier. The WW. Okay. Nylon, the fabric.
Yeah.
Nylon.
Mm-hmm.
Sister, air conditioning, hot air ballooning. Oh.
Don't worry about the inventions just yet. Do you recognize any of those people on the left side?
No, John, they are the inventors, but Elisha Otis.
There's only one name I would expect you to know. Just one.
Just one. The money Philo. Okay, Bargain.
Focus on letter 8.
Sir Tim Berners-Lee.
Does that sound familiar?
I think it's letter A, right?
It is, exactly.
Yeah.
The guy who had basically invented what we're doing now.
Mm-hmm.
He's the guy who's responsible. And he's still around. He's still doing things. He did that as a way for scientists. He didn't create the internet. He created the linking up web pages, World Wide Web. He created hyperlinking and things like that. So he did that as a way for scientists to communicate not only faster, but for them to share ideas. Because, if you're reading a book and you have to look at the footnotes, it's a little difficult. It takes away from the reading. So he thought, well, why not put everything online and just click on a word to be able to go and understand what something means or to find out more about it. And this was just for physicists. His job is a physicist, particle physicist. The other ones, I wouldn't expect you to know, and yeah, I don't even know. None of them look familiar. Maybe Philo Farnsworth, maybe that one looked a little familiar to me. The other ones, I didn't know either.
Uh,
Which of the inventions on the right side, are there any that you're not sure about? Sorry about the noise in the background. We have some
no problem.
workers in here working on the workers with allergies.
No.
Do you recognize any? Are there any words you don't recognize on the left side?
Maybe
On the right
Kevlar.
side. Sorry, right side.
Maybe Kevlar.
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 Kevlar is used a lot by police departments around the world. You're going to wear Kevlar. So if it's used by police and it's used by military, what do you think Kevlar is? If it's something that you wear.
A uniform? It's a kind of uniform, John?
Almost. Almost. It's a kind of protection. Police use it. Military people use it.
It's similar to a safety vest.
Similar, except that it will prevent you from getting shot. Kevlar is bulletproof fabric. Well, I shouldn't say prevent you from getting shot. You'll get shot, but the bullet won't penetrate the fabric. It'll knock the wind out of you. If you get shot with a Kevlar vest on, you won't be able to breathe, and you might break a few ribs, but you'll be alive. So yeah, that one is not obvious. Kevlar is bulletproof. I guess
maybe.
It's bulletproof vest. I guess it's the fabric, I suppose. And everything else is pretty clear, right? What about transistor? You know, what's a transistor? Do you know what that is?
Oh yes, in the past there were some transistors in televisions.
Right. That's right.
Small bulbs or something, yeah?
Well, the bulbs were tubes. So before transistors, there were tubes, vacuum tubes, which had a gas in it. Then we switched to transistors, which were on-off switches, and we still use them today. We still use transistors. So transistors are the basic component of microelectronics. So computers, radios, transmitters, you name it. Even your Wi-Fi, your router, right? Everything uses transistors. So the motherboard, the CPU, all of those are transistor technology. You're right about the TV, though. TV, I suppose it still uses transistors. But you're thinking of the cathode ray tube. That was a vacuum tube that allowed a particle gun to shoot basically electrons at the screen. So it was like had a gas that would shoot things through. So we don't use cathode ray tubes in television anymore, but we use other things, you know, LED and things like that. Okay, so transistors are microelectronics. Kevlar, a bulletproof material, and the other things, I guess, are pretty clear. So which of those things do you think that we, I don't know. I should ask it this way. Are any of those things unnecessary or unimportant in today's world? In your opinion, of course.
Yes. Transistor air conditioning. Well, I think most of them are important nowadays. In these moments, for example, I live in Mexico City, and here we don't need air conditioning. But what about when you go to a hot place, for example, a place near the beach or near a beach, or this kind of weather is kind of hot, and it's a must to have, sorry, to have an air conditioning because if you don't, you can't stay home because of the weather.
Right,
So in this moment, I can say, well, it's not important, the air conditioning, but maybe some people are watching us and some people say, wow, it's a basic one to have an air conditioning.
right.
Uh, for me, all of them are really, really important. Worldwide, television, and some people say, okay, maybe television is going to disappear someday. I don't think so. Maybe television is going to change
Hmm.
because new things are being created, and television needs to transform,
Hmm.
but never disappear. I think so. A lift and elevator. Well, imagine living in a building, or maybe your office is on the 10th floor. You need an elevator. And nylon. I am not a fashion designer, but the people into fashion, they may say, okay, Giancarlo and John, nylon is something relevant because this and that and that. Mm,
Also, imagine if we only had wool and cotton like 100 or so years ago. Cotton was the big revolution. Cotton changed the world. But but now we have something like nylon. Nylon is synthetic, right?
yeah,
So it doesn't depend on agriculture. It depends on, I mean, I'm not saying that using petroleum is a good idea, but we have 7 billion people on the planet. If we had to grow the crops to create the cotton for 7 billion people, would there be enough space to grow all of that cotton? Or do we have enough sheep in the world to make wool? Plus, is it appropriate? Is it light enough? There's other things you can use, of course, but so at least with nylon, you can mass produce it. It's like cotton, but it can be mass produced. We just have too many people. So that's another thing that comes to my mind. Without synthetic fabrics, would we be able to put clothes on 7 billion people? I don't know the answer, but I'm saying I think it makes a difference. So also for the price. Right
mm,
now, it's cheap. In the future, when there's no oil, it might not be, but for now it is. So these are all things that come to my mind as well. Well, here's the plan. I guess today we've got people watching, but no one's going to come in, so it's you and me. Let's do
yeah,
this. Let me uh, let me go here. Um, I'm not exactly sure how we're going to do the reading because it's kind of long, but let's focus on some vocabulary. So let's read through this list, and if you can match up the definition or if you know what it is, great. If not, we're going to try to look for it in the reading that we do. So you've got definitions here and here. So that's slide 4 and slide 3, just so you know. Okay. By the way, let's say a quick hello to Iman, who's joining us now. Hello, Iman. How are you?
Hello, how are you?
Am I saying your name okay?
Yes,
Iman, like that? Iman?
yes.
Fantastic. Where are you from, Iman?
I'm from Egypt,
From Egypt.
living in UAE.
Living in the Emirates, yeah?
Excuse me?
Living in the Emirates. United Arab Emirates.
Yeah, yeah.
Got it. Excellent.
Thank you.
And that's a very nice cat, by the way.
Thank you.
Excellent. So, we've been talking about, really, the theme is innovation, because this is a business class. And we're going to be talking about, ultimately, if the innovation that led to those things we just looked at a moment ago on this slide, that kind of innovation is even possible today, or has the world changed so much? Because that's the question that comes to my mind, at least. Maybe after reading the article, you'll have a few questions too. Let's take a look at some of the difficult vocabulary. Okay, what I want you to do is I want you to read through the definitions on slide 3 and 4, and then we'll see if we can match these words up, or if you can just explain the word, that'd be fine too. So let's just take turns reading through the definition, making sure the definitions make sense. The first one is effect or influence. Effect or influence. If there's any questions, just ask. Giancarlo, read 2 for us.
Effect or influence.
Right, read number 2.
Relating to towns and cities or happening there.
Okay. And Iman, could you read 3?
The ability to solve problems in new and clever ways.
Okay. So focus on just the key words that will help you remember the definition in just a moment.
Yeah.
Number 4 is achievements that mark important stages in a process. Think about that. Giancarlo, number 5.
The power to interest or attract people very strongly.
Okay, very good. And Iman, number 6, can you read that?
An official document that gives someone who has invented something the legal right to make or sell that invention for a particular period of time and prevents anyone else from doing so.
Okay, the key idea here is that it's an official document. The rest of that is a little bit confusing, but it's a document. The document that has something to do with the legality of selling what you've invented. Okay, number 7 is special clothes that soldiers and police officers wear to protect them against dangerous situations. We actually talked about that a moment ago. On the next slide, keep going, Giancarlo, number 8.
Believe in a god or gods.
Okay, number 9. Oh, that's you, Iman.
Not willing to let anything prevent you from doing what you have decided to do.
Excellent. Number 10 is one of the first people to do something important that is later continued and developed by others. So the first of your kind, in other words. Okay, Giancarlo, 11.
The praise for something you have done or achieved.
Okay, the key idea there is praise, when you are recognized. Iman, number 12.
The set of systems that affect how well something operates.
The set of systems that affect how well something operates. Set means a group.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I'm not sure what that definition means. Okay, number 13. Giancarlo.
A natural ability for being good at a particular activity.
And Iman, the last one.
The ability to decide in an independent way what to do and when to do it.
Okay. Some of these definitions are a little confusing, actually. But let's give it a try. So, I also want to hear your pronunciation, too, of these words. Okay? So, let's first just say these words. Just repeat. Body armor.
Body armor.
Iman, body armor.
Body armor.
Okay, good. I'm just going to do the blue ones first. Milestones. Now you.
Milestones.
Iman?
Which one? Milestones.
Good, good. Credit, that's easy. We can skip that. You know what that is. Impact.
Impact.
Now you. Good. Repeat.
Impact.
Good. Patent.
Patent.
Iman?
Patent.
Good. The next 3 blue ones are good for pronunciation. You probably know what they are, though. Determined. Now you.
Determined.
Determined.
Good. Infrastructure.
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 And the last one I think you know, pioneer.
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 Okay, good. The next three black ones. I'm going to say all three, and then I want you to say all three. Listen to me. Faith, ingenuity, talent. Listen to me one more time. Faith, ingenuity, talent. Giancarlo?
Faith, ingenuity, talent.
Good. Iman?
Faith, ingenuity, talent.
Excellent. And finally, the blue ones. First me, then you. I'll say them twice. Fascination, initiative, urban. One more time. Fascination, initiative, urban. Giancarlo?
Fascination, initiative, urban.
Good. Iman?
Fascination, initiative, urban.
Excellent. So, what is body armor? Can you see it?
Uh-huh.
What is it? Which definition matches?
Number 7, special clothes that soldiers and police officers wear to protect themselves against bullets.
7 is correct. That's easy. And what is body armor made of? We already know from earlier, right, Giancarlo?
Yes. But,
Remember what that word was?
the word is
See it?
it's Kevlar.
Kevlar, right. That's the invention we're going to be talking about. Milestones. Milestones matches with... What do you think, Iman? If you don't see the definition, you can just explain it or give a synonym. What does milestones mean here?
Actually, I didn't know.
Want to take a guess?
No, I don't know.
Giancarlo, what would you say?
Milestones may be related to towns and cities or happening there.
It is related to towns and cities, but that's not the right definition. It's much more specific. A milestone literally is a marker when you're traveling between cities. Every mile, there's a distance marker.
Yeah.
But we use it metaphorically. We talk about a project having milestones. So definition 4, Iman, look at that one. Definition 4.
Yeah. Achievements that mark important stages in a process.
Right. A milestone is an achievement in a project, basically.
Yeah.
Right? Or in your life. For some people in America, 16 is like a milestone birthday, at least for girls, right? If you're Jewish, 13 is the milestone birthday, your bar mitzvah, bat mitzvah, or something like that. 21 is a milestone birthday because that's the age you can drink in America. Depends on what city you're in. So milestones, and the project can have a milestone like your first sale or something like that. Okay?
Yeah.
I think credit is really easy. What about impact?
Impact, I think, number 1, effect or influence.
Exactly. The impact that something has. You're right. Patent.
Patent is
If I take out a patent on my invention, what am I doing? What have I done?
an official document that gives someone who has invented something the legal right to make or sell that invention for a particular period of time and prevents anyone else from doing so. Number 6.
What kind of things are patent?
What kind? Medicine, maybe.
Exactly. Exactly. When you cannot buy a generic of a medicine that still has the patent on it. You have to wait until the patent expires. Then another country or another laboratory can produce the same drug. Okay, that's why you don't have generics for everything. Depends on each country. In the United States, drugs are really expensive. In other countries, they're less expensive. But part of it is because of the patent laws. Okay. Let me see here. I'm just going to pick a few difficult ones. Like, for example, like, let's see. I'm going to change the slide here, and I'm going to say infrastructure. Can you find the matching definition for infrastructure? Here, the word is not that difficult, but the definition is really difficult. So it's the most abstract one of all. Can you see which one it is? I'll take that as a no. It's a bit difficult. When we talk about infrastructure of a country, we're talking about the roads and highways and the systems that let you get around and do what you've got to do. So number 12 is the only definition that fits, I guess. Number 12,
Yeah.
right? Set of systems. But normally we talk about the physical infrastructure of a city or of a country. Roads, highways, telephone lines, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, set of systems. What about ingenuity? That's a kind of a difficult word. Here, ingenuity, is it on this page? No, it's not. Actually, I got to change slides. In a second. It's on this page, ingenuity. Can you see it?
Ingenuity is
I think number 3.
Correct. Correct. Ingenuity doesn't mean that you're naive. It means that you're clever. It's a false friend with other languages. Ingenuity, ability to solve problems. Being clever is being ingenious. Very good. That's it. Maybe another really difficult one is perhaps initiative. And initiative is on the next slide, actually. Let's go to the next slide. Can you find initiative?
is number 10.
Number 10, do you agree?
No, 13, I think.
We have number 10 and we have 13. It's not number 10 and it's not number 13. It's actually number 14. Initiative. Here's why. We can have an initiative or we can take initiative. There's more than one way to use the word. If you have initiative, the ability to decide independently, that's really the key. If you have initiative, you act independently. You don't need to be told what to do.
Yeah.
Let's put this into perspective for a second. Can you think of an example of somebody or some group of people who have taken initiative, who've decided to act for themselves? Any ideas? Let's see if we can plug in reality for a second.
Well, in Mexico, there was a guy who invented television in black and white.
Yeah?
His name was Camarena. His last name was Camarena, and he had the initiative to begin this project alone in his house. And then he patented this patented this invention,
Right.
going to the USA, I think so.
Interesting. So, are you saying that he invented TV before one of these people did it?
Yes, I know that he invented it in, I don't remember exactly the times, but yes, he is very well recognized in Mexico and maybe in different countries.
Right. Very interesting.
Yes, black and white TV.
It was what?
Black and white TV.
No, but his name was?
González Camarena, I think so.
Camarena.
Camarena, yeah.
Camarena.
Let me
Like,
write it in the chat.
like this?
It's Camarena, like that.
Ah, Camarena. Not Macarena. Camarena.
No, Camarena.
Very good.
Is Spanish difficult, John? No, it's not difficult.
Wow, I don't see him. I see only Kiki Camarena. Enrique Kiki Camarena. Mexican-born. Oh, no, that's not. That's a guy from the Drug Enforcement Agency. No, that's
I
not him.
think it's Gonzalez.
So let's Camarena. Let's see. Oh, here he is. Guillermo Gonzalez Camarena.
Yeah,
Electrical engineer. Inventor of the color wheel type of color television. No, he invented color, not black and white.
Color. No, black and white, sorry, color.
Ah, there you go. The guy who invented the color wheel. Very good. Excellent. Never heard of him. Wow. And I should have, because I studied all this stuff. And he died really young, too. Wow. Very interesting. Sent the first color transmission from his lab in the offices of the Mexican Native Radio Experiments. The video signal was transmitted, blah, blah, blah. So he did color television in 1946. Really good. Interesting. Well, it would be great to find out more about him. I've never heard of him before. But I'll tell you what. Let's first take a look at our text. Now that you know some of the difficult words, it should be easier to read this text and to find out a bit about it. It's a little bit long, so probably all we're going to have time to do is just read the text and have a minute or two at the very end to discuss innovation and what the difference, if any, was between that time and now, if you think it's possible. At least that's the question that that came to my mind, or that was raised when I read this. Okay. So let's see. We don't have enough people to break it up into parts, so I think we're just going to have to read it. I'm going to just summarize the very first page. You can go back and read it if you like, but I'm just going to summarize the very first page for you, and then we're going to go to the actual examples. Okay, so let me do the first part. They're talking about, I don't know actually how to pronounce this. They're talking about this building, the Khalifa. How do you say this? I never know how to pronounce it. Is it Burj Khalifa? Khalifa. I have to see the pronunciation. Let's see if I can. The tallest building in the world. I don't know if I can see the actual. Let me see if I can give you a. Let me see if I can give you a quick link to it if you haven't seen it. 1 second. It's Burj Khalifa. Burj Khalifa. And let me see if I can just give you a quick link to it. 1 second. Have you ever seen this building, by the way? Oh, let me get a picture of it first. Have you seen this before?
Yes, it is in Dubai.
In Dubai, exactly. Have you seen it with your own eyes? Have you been to Dubai?
Yes, of course.
Okay. It's pretty tall.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah, it's extremely tall, extremely high.
Okay, we're starting off with this because the text uses this as an example. So I'm just going to do a little summary of the very beginning. So there's your picture of the Burj Khalifa. 830 meters above downtown Dubai, the Burj Khalifa became the tallest building when it opened its doors in 2010. Daily operations inside the skyscraper depend on hundreds of technologies, but two are essential for doing business in Dubai. What do you think are the two technologies that are essential more than anything else? Want to take a quick guess?
Of course. Building technologies, I think.
Say again, Iman?
Building technology.
Construction
Yeah,
technology.
yeah,
Okay, but now that it's built,
yeah,
for it to operate in 2015, what
yeah.
technologies do you think it depends on? Besides the construction, I mean, just for the operations, what inventions do you think we might take for granted? But if without these inventions, no one could use this building. Think
Left,
about, yeah,
left, left.
exactly. One is the lifts, the
Yeah,
elevators,
yeah.
and the other, think about the location.
Mm.
How do you think people would get to the top? Oh, we already said the lifts. Sorry. How do you think people would feel? You
Air
can't
conditioning.
exactly. you
Sorry,
can't.
air
You
conditioning.
can't. You can't really open the windows in a building that tall because there would be a major problem with it. With the wind. It's very windy at the top. When I was a kid, I used to go to the top of the World Trade Center, and one of the things you notice or one of the things that I think everyone noted, there's a bar. There was a bar at the top of the World Trade Center, and you could sit out there and see very, very far because the World Trade Center was very tall. One of the things that you would notice is that you were kind of moving. The World Trade Center seemed to be on kind of springs or something. At least I always had the sensation that we were moving slightly. Probably that was deliberate. I don't really know how it was built, but if it's too rigid and you've got weather or something like that, the buildings are more likely to have a structural problem. So that's one thing I remember. You can't open the windows because of the wind. Okay, so just to wrap up the Burj Khalifa, it has 57 elevators, 57 lifts, many of which have video screens to entertain people while they travel up and down because it takes a very long time to get to the top. And the cooling comfort generated by the air conditioning is equivalent to melting 12,000 tons of ice every day. It's pretty powerful. All of these things bring us back to the inventor, Elisha Otis, who developed the lift in 1853, and Willis Carrier, who invented air conditioning in 1902. The ability to control temperatures and construct smart buildings is shaping an increasingly global, urban, and vertical face to the 21st century. But without the interconnected web of human inventiveness that has spread across the globe in the past 150 years, this progress would not have been possible. So what I've been reading here is the last paragraph on this page, last two paragraphs. I want you each to take one or two of the other examples, and if there's any questions along the way, just ask. And then afterwards, we're going to have a little discussion. And then on Wednesday's class, we're going to do an activity where you're going to use the vocabulary that we've learned today or that you've been exposed to. Okay, so Giancarlo, tell us about the airplane.
The airplane. Should I read?
Please do.
Yes. The airplane. Daedalus. It's difficult.
Daedalus.
Daedalus made wings of wax and feathers.
Wax. Like cat. Wax.
Cat. Wax.
Good.
Daedalus made wings of wax and feathers for his son, Icarus, and told him not to fly near the sun. But Icarus or Icarus? Icarus flew too high and the wax melted, so he fell into the sea and drowned. This Greek myth is a warning about hubris and a reminder of the fascination of flight. In 1483, Leonardo da Vinci drew a sketch of a parachute In 1783, the Montgolfier brothers invented the hot air balloon, and on 17 December 1903, Wilbur and Orville Wright inspired the work of German engineer Otto Lilienfeld, used the world's first engine-powered airplane to make 4 short flights in Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. Their invention has been followed by more than a century of aviation innovation that led to the development of the Airbus A380, which can carry 853 passengers at 900 kilometers an hour.
It's almost 1,000 people in that airplane. That's pretty big.
That's pretty big, yeah. Almost
That-
1,000.
That's pretty big. There's a new one I saw. I forgot the name of it. It's an Airbus, I think. And it looks ridiculous. I forgot even the name of it. It looks ridiculous. It looks like a whale with wings. It's really fat and round. And it holds like something like that. I think even more. So, what we're seeing here is, just imagine, a little over 100 years ago, there were no elevators. And now, out there in the desert in Dubai, you've got 57 of them. So much so that there's entertainment systems and air conditioning as well, because it takes quite a few minutes, right? I don't know how long it takes to get to the top, but I remember in the World Trade Center, your ears would pop when with the elevators because you were changing pressure so fast for the elevators to get down. It took quite a long time to get down in the elevators. So this one is like, what, triple the size or something like that at the World Trade Center. So it's huge. 100 years ago, it didn't exist, or a little over 100 years ago. 100, not even 100 years ago. Yeah, a little over 100 years ago, there were no airplanes. And now we've got, it's I don't know. It's almost hard to imagine, basically. Are there any vocabulary words that are not clear in the first paragraph, by the way? Are we cool? Everything clear?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yeah, everything's clear. Yes, John.
Okay, Iman, let's find out a little bit about the history of television.
That's one small step for a man, one giant leap for mankind.
One
said the
giant.
One giant leap for mankind, said the first man of the moon, Neil Armstrong. On 20 July 1969, here on Earth, 600 million people saw the moonwalk live on television, and one of those watching was 62 years old Philo Farnsworth.
Good.
From
Utah.
From Utah. This has made it all worthwhile, said Farnsworth to his wife, Tim, as Stephanie Sammartino McPherson wrote in her book, TV's Forgotten Hero.
TV's Forgotten Hero.
TV's Forgotten Hero. The story of Philo Farnsworth. When Farnsworth filed a patent for the first electronic television in 1927, one of the most powerful forms of mass media in history was created. TV has always had its critics. The educator Neil Postman wrote one of the harshest analysis of industry, amusing ourselves to death, but it marches on. A recent trend is being viewing, which is when people watch several hours of the same TV series at one time, either online or via DVD.
That word is binge. Say it for me.
Hmm?
Binge
Binge
viewing.
viewing.
Good. And I'll try to put the IPA symbols there in the chat window. So, for example, here's the word binge. Can you see what I wrote in the chat window? Binge. Can you see that?
No, actually not.
Well, later on, if you later on,
Yeah,
go
yeah,
back.
yeah, I see it.
Oh, now you see it. Okay. So there's binge,
Yeah.
and before that I wrote filed. And notice it's FAI. It's not really FAI. Those are the sounds for fi,
Yeah.
then old, filed,
Yeah. What does it mean,
filed,
teacher?
filed, to categorize
Yeah.
and to store. You file something in a giant
Yeah.
filing cabinet, maybe.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Thank you.
Okay? And also giant, the IPA symbols show you that the G is soft. J,
Yeah.
J.
Yeah.
So not giant, but giant.
Yeah.
Okay, very good, very good. So that's Philo Farnsworth, the guy who basically patented television before our Mexican friend. before
Yes,
Camarena.
before Camarena, yeah.
Okay. Take a look at the transistor. I'll read this one really quick. Follow along. In 1956, the Nobel Prize in Physics was awarded to John Bardeen, Walter Britton, and William Shockley for creating the transistor. Quote, one of the most important discoveries of the 20th century. Simply put, a transistor is a semiconductor device that strengthens and switches electronic signals and electrical power. As I said earlier, it's an on and off switch. It's a circuit. According to the official website of the Nobel Prize, quote, it has made it possible to send mankind to the moon, built small yet powerful computers, and construct small and efficient hearing aids. These inventions are just a few examples of everyday items containing transistors. All the technology in our personal computers, smartphones, tablets, or in the huge computers in cloud data centers function because of the transistor. In fact, we're trying now to create quantum computing, which is not based on transistors. Transistors follow classical mechanics. Something is either on or it is off. The current is either positive or it is negative. So now we're trying to build faster computers that obey subatomic rules instead of atomic rules, or big rules, macro physical rules. So right now everything is still based on transistors. Everything we're using right now to communicate. So that's about transistors. Let me see how many more. There's Kevlar, personal computer, and the internet. I think we have just enough time to finish the reading, and we're going to pass our discussion and our activity to Wednesday's class, it looks like. Okay? Giancarlo, back to you for Kevlar.
Yes, Kevlar. Stephanie Kolek, 1923-2014, was working at the DuPont company in Delaware when she invented a light stronger than steel fiber in 1965. It was intended for use in automobiles, tires, but Kevlar, as it was called, became famous for saving the lives of thousands of police officers and soldiers thanks to its use in body armor. My faith protects me. My Kevlar helps, says the science fiction writer Jim Butcher. Aside from protective clothing, Kevlar is found in airplanes, boats, and mobile phones. When Stephanie Knowles died at the age of 90, DuPont chief executive Ellen Kullman described her as a creative and determined chemist and a true pioneer for women in science. In the 20th century, innovation came to be associated more and more with specific companies. Wallace Carothers, for example, invented nylon at DuPont in 1933.
Okay, very good. Sorry, 1935?
35,
Okay,
sorry.
very good. Let me take a quick moment here because I want to show you something. Do any of you know who invented Wi-Fi? What you're probably using right now to connect to the internet?
Oh no, that's a good question.
It is a good question. When do you think it was invented, Wi-Fi?
Maybe in
I think
When do you think?
20.
Iman, what were you going to say?
in USA and World War
In the
maybe.
USA? And what year do you think it was invented?
I think in World War.
I can't hear the last word. Say again.
World War. In
World War II?
War.
World War
Yeah,
II?
maybe.
Okay. It's a good guess. And Giancarlo, who do you think who and how old do you think the inventor was? If you had to guess.
Maybe I don't know who, but maybe he or she was very young, I think. I'm not sure.
And want to see a picture of the inventor of Wi-Fi?
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Tell me if you recognize this person. There she is.
Really? Really, John?
Really?
She was an actress, right?
Yeah.
A movie star.
Here's a better picture of her.
But how come she invented it?
Not how come she invented, but how come you don't know that she's the inventor? And the reason you don't know about it is probably because she was a woman and women weren't allowed to invent things. Apparently, the story goes that she became an actress because her career as an inventor didn't really pay the bills. It was also during the war, and she was escaping like everyone else. So she came to America, and on the boat over, she got noticed by a Hollywood producer and then became a famous film star, and there she is. Her name is Hedy Lamarr. Hedy Lamarr. And it's only been pretty recently that she's even been recognized. Her and a partner. But anyway, there you go. So it just goes to show you. Now, on that note, I want you to think about something. Because with one exception, all the inventors were men today, with one exception. The DuPont, the Kevlar inventor. But did you notice the year that Kevlar was invented? What year was that? You remember what you read? It was what, 60-something, wasn't it? Kevlar, what was the year? 65. So it's interesting. So Hedy Lamarr was obviously working, 30 years before that, at least. I don't know the exact year offhand. So to me, that's noticeable, that in 65, in the middle of all of these civil rights movements, all of them, that's when you have someone working at a major company who happens to be female. I think it's interesting. So I want you to think about that. Well, let's do this. In the next Business Basics class, what I want you to do is we're going to talk about innovation and whether or not it's possible today, or more possible than it used to be. What goes into innovation? What I'd like you to do also in your in the presentation, let me give you the link in case you don't have it. I think I gave it to you, but let me give it to you again. In the link, you have a few activities that you can try on your own to help you with some of the vocabulary. Can everyone hear me okay? Can everyone hear me okay? Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
My computer looks like it's a bit frozen. Okay, so there's the link again. And what I'd like you to do is you can read, so there's there's two more little texts to read. Then exercise and exercise 5 on your own to get you more familiar.
Your voice was cut for a while.
Sorry. So you can read these two on your own on slide 9.
Yeah.
And on your own, you've got activities that you can do on slide 3. Sorry, on exercise 3 on slide 10, exercise 4 on slide 11, and exercise 5 on slide 12. This will get you used to the key vocabulary in the article, the useful vocabulary. On Wednesday, we're going to use that vocabulary to talk about innovation and to what I'd really like you to do is to invent, to present an innovative idea, one that you know about, one that
Excuse me, we can't hear you, teacher.
Can you hear me now? Hello, hello?
Yeah. No.
Sorry,
Yes.
I don't know what's happening with my connection.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'll try to send you I'll try to send you a summary, but basically, on Wednesday's class, it would be great if you could briefly present an invention or an innovation that you think we ought to know about, like the ones that we've seen here. And we're going to use that vocabulary that you're learning to do the presentation. So think about that. You don't have to plan it, you don't have to write it, only if you want to. But try the vocabulary and let's compare some innovative ideas. And I'll have a few other activities as well. Okay? So we'll talk about the article and we'll compare innovations on Wednesday at 1 p.m. GMT. Okay?
Okay.
Are we cool for the moment?
Yes.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Try-
teacher.
Okay, so bye for now. I'll be back tomorrow from 12 to 2 GMT for speaking skills and something else. Fluency
Okay.
fundamentals. Yes, those are the two tomorrow. Okay, bye for now, everyone. Have a great day. See you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.